At the beginning of the story, a pun goes off, or a series of puns, a tale too witty to have skipped. A geneticist in the ovaries of this universe's creation myth. Before the trees, leaves, 9 planets, and 7 seas, before any variation on Adams, and Eves, there non-existed an anthropo-illogical flow. Preconceived before boredom could ever be achieved, and instead of 2 cities, there were none. But before the Big Bang, was there a little one?
Before the Big Bang, did God have a sun? Or was there a higher power outage inside an atmosphere with a collapsed lung? Before the Big Bang, the Milky Way was fat-free and weighed less than a pound. Galaxies had no proper names and everything was an indefinite pronoun. Because nothing was up and the solar system was down. So, before the Big Bang, Mercury received a retrograde F. Venus was unloved and unkept, and Earth was somehow inhumane. Mars was unread, at peace and fairly plain. Jupiter wasn't a big shot but a small fry, and Saturn preferred TGI Fridays to eating onion rings from the sky. Uranus was so full of shit it thought it could fly, and all Neptune did was cry. Before the Big Bang, Pluto got picked last in gym class, but was much warmer than you might think. Before the Big Bang, musical verses emitting milk juice soda used neon pink, which was nothing more or less than a symphonic mnemonic of me, myself, and eyes closed before the blink. The original synesthesiacs before and after dinner drink. Before the Big Bang, there was no life, or afterlife. There was nothing, not even matter. Nothing mattered. But maybe it did. Hypotheses teem with otherworldly explanations of seething particles creating and destroying, an empty void of everything and its opposite, a vastness of pieces in pieces unceasing in its destructive deposits. Before 13 billion years ago, plus a few million more, we were already destined to be perpetually at war. Before dinosaurs and a land before time, before us, before them, before XY, XX, X women, and X men. Before Father Time's hourglass and Zeus's lightning bolt, there was a revolving of evolving to eventually revolt. Before Doctor Who's, What's and Where's, Kirk's, Cons, and Spocks. Before paper worked and scissors worked, there were just rocks. Before particle physicists and particles floating in space. Before the sun shined and the moon had a face. Before old souls were young and babies were born. Before online dating, AI, and internet porn. Before Socrates, Aristotle, Chaucer, and Shakespeare ever spoke or wrote a single word. Before Charles Dickens, Dick Clark, Dick Cavett, a third Richard, and Richard III. Before humans, my lord, there needs no such anthropology. Before pop culture, cancel culture, or yet another half-hearted apology with nothing to study and no one to study it or understudy it. All was forgiven with no one to forgive or forgive a shit. No bees or beings, nothing to smell, touch, taste, hear, see, no jeopardy or double jeopardy, with 0 answers, there was no question, there was no be or not to be. You could do no wrong because there was no wrong to do. In an age before ages, during a tale of absolute 0 cities. Before seaports, seeing through portals and portmanteaus. Before dams, Rotterdams, goddams, and oh-no's, times were no worse than the very worst, nor any better than the very best. A benign indifference of organized mess. And in a moment, true neutrality was no longer at large. An assault on batteries, doo-wah-diddying through spacey space bars, Louis C.K.ing the Cosby cosmos before the changing and rearranging of the guard. There wasn't nothing until there was this house of bards. We didn't learn no lesson from no stars, or former stars, a galaxy of double negatives mixed with everything doubly positive, infinitely in charge.